Welcome to the Lessons for Life Christmas special, and what a special reunion it is. I'm here with my old friend and former colleague, Babar Ali. We used to share the airwaves and now we're sharing YouTube. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Julian.
What has happened?
It seems like such a long time ago now.
It seems a lifetime away.
Yeah. But it's great to see that you're still active. You're still,
I'm still
out there.
hyperactive.
And from what I can see, you have improved.
Thank you very much. You didn't think I could. You didn't think it could get any better, but here we are on YouTube. Barbara and I used to have a radio show, and we dabbled in the YouTube.
We did.
But we were mainly a radio
Community
outfit. Community radio, deeply rooted in the Muslim and wider community.
That's right.
But you have moved on into the fitness world.
Yeah.
You're a personal trainer.
Yeah. And a coach.
Yeah. And I guess a mentor. You're probably a friend, a support to people.
Yes. I like to believe I am.
Why is fitness important?
Good question.
And what does it mean to be fit?
Yeah, I mean, you see fitness everywhere now. I mean, Instagram is one of the main places now where people go and show off their fitness abilities and showing off their physiques, etc. Fitness in itself is really important for everyone. You know, you don't necessarily need to be aesthetic. You don't necessarily need to have a great body to be fit and healthy.
Okay, and what's the difference between health and fitness?
Well, health is vital. You know, if you're unhealthy, you know, you won't be able to get on with your daily life.
Yeah.
You know, you always be worrying about being sick, etc. So, healthy is very important. Fitness in itself is more to do with how one can perform, maybe. You know.
From what I understand, fitness is always fit for the purpose. A sumo wrestler is fit for what he does.
That's like sports specific.
A marathon runner is fit for what he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the fitness that you are training people?
Yeah, I mean,
Do they come to you with a goal?
Yeah, I mean, if it's personal training, generally those sort of sessions or that sort of work is more gym based, where people want to lose weight, gain muscle, and
lose fat.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, lose fat, ideally.
Okay.
Lose fat and gain muscle. So those sort of workouts are generally based in gyms, and if gym workouts can get a bit boring. Not everyone wants to be working out in the gym all the time. So we could do other things as well. We can do outdoor workouts and
keep it fun, keep it enjoyable.
Try to keep it interesting, keep it different.
What about the people that say healthy at any weight? When you say people come to you for weight loss or fat loss, yet we're being told you can be healthy at any weight and I can be clinically obese, but I'm still healthy. Yeah,
I mean, that's true. You don't necessarily, like I said in the beginning, you don't need to be aesthetic and have the perfect physique to be healthy or fit. But what does determine how healthy you are? Your heart rate, your I was going to say...
Recovery?
Your recovery, your heart rate, your blood pressure.
Okay.
All these factors determine...
So these are tangible things that we can measure.
Exactly.
Health and fitness is actually something that we can measure, and some people are healthier than others.
Exactly.
This mentality of, we're all equal and everything's okay and it's all right if you're overweight, has that led people to be unfit, to be unhealthy? Is that promoting unhealthy lifestyle? If fat people are on the front cover of health magazines. Sorry to be very insensitive, and I'm talking in very sort of crude terms at the moment, but that's what Barbara told me to say.
Did I say that? No.
Why are fat people on the front of fitness magazines?
The problem is, one of the problems is, and I'm generalizing here, is that people like to be comfortable. You know, people, they don't want to push the limit. They don't want to get up every day trying to be better than yesterday.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of people want to be comfortable. They don't want to push the limits, and I think that's where they just want to be accepted for who they are. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy. You know, you have to go to your GP, get your heart rate checked, blood pressure checked, get all these factors checked, do some blood tests to actually see how healthy you are.
Okay. And there's a fine line between as you say, being healthy at any weight, you could have a low heart rate, you might have better cholesterol, I might have worse cholesterol than a visibly obese person.
That's right.
Because some of these health factors are invisible,
Yeah,
internal. But having excess body fat is one visible sign of
If you
unhealthy
are,
lifestyle, right?
if you have excess body fat, that is an indicator that you are unhealthy.
Okay.
That will be a general indicator. It's not necessarily true all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, you might see certain boxers, they might carry a lot of body fat, but these guys are going 10, 12 rounds and fighting at a high level.
Yeah, so they can't be unhealthy or
Exactly.
I mean, Tony Bellew springs to mind. He's always said, "Oh, I'm a fat guy." He doesn't look typically like the athlete,
Like a shredded athlete. But
although last time round he did come in quite more cut than usual.
better. He pushed the limits a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in.
Do you think had he pushed harder over the years, he would have been in a better
Yeah, I mean,
shape?
we are all
is it
products.
just
We are
his
all
biology?
products of our environment. And the longer you do something, yes, you will see certain changes.
What about Fedor, one of the best fighters who ever lived MMA?
Yeah.
He didn't look typically athletic.
Not impressive
No,
at all.
but impressive
Definitely,
when he got in the
and
octagon.
the sort of exercises and training that he was doing were more sport specific. It wasn't geared towards having a ripped physique. You know, that having a ripped physique and being a competitive fighter, you know, it's a plus. It's
Okay.
It's not a priority.
And it might be a consequence of training, but it's not what you train for.
Exactly.
Fury springs to mind as well, who's got himself back into great shape,
Yes.
having gained, blown up to 28 stone or something. He's got back in shape, but he's never been the aesthetic bodybuilder type. Shall I do the impression? If I can't be a pumped up bodybuilder, I'm not any good then, am I? I'm the Gypsy King. There it was for the last time this year. So yeah, you don't have to be a ripped bodybuilder.
You got to stop doing those impressions because I remember
some people are falling for them too much.
People fall for them. And the other thing is when you used to do those impressions back in the day, I would actually be laughing for about 5 minutes and stop. So you might ruin this show that we're doing now.
We'll cut out all the laughter. We'll quit while we're ahead.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you about measuring.
Yes.
We can measure body fat, we can measure height, weight, blah, blah, blah. Can we measure testosterone levels?
Yes.
How does one measure
That's
your
done
testosterone
through
level?
blood testing.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm scared of needles.
You can go to your GP actually and you can get it checked.
Okay,
You
but
can-
it will involve a blood test.
Yes, but it's not a major thing. It's like they're going to stick a little needle in you and
Yeah,
draw a little blood. It's not like a
That's
blood
one way.
transfusion.
Yeah, that's what, and you don't get a biscuit afterwards.
No.
People say that, on the whole, male testosterone levels have dropped
Yes.
in society, certainly in Western society. That could be because of diet and environmental factors.
The rise of feminism.
Why would the rise of feminism... Could be, but why would that? How would that manifest itself
Well,
biologically?
Well, I mean, we are all products of our environment. And when we have this war that's going on at the moment between sexes, where you have male and females actually competing against each
Don't
other.
forget all the other ones, Barbara.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
But let's talk about male and
Okay.
female.
That's very
you know,
sexist of
yes.
you to say that.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. Sorry, I'm a
Genders.
I'm a
There are
bit-
two sexes, but people say there are many genders.
I'm a bit old-fashioned.
I know you are.
Yeah. So when you've got two sexes constantly in battle with each other, rather than helping each other,
But why would that have a biological effect?
it comes down to the alpha and the beta.
Okay.
You know, if one always has to be dominant. You know, if you look through the animal kingdom, it's the same principles. And science likes to compare humans with animals as well in terms of their behaviorisms. So when you have that, the two sexes battling each other all the time for dominance, something's got to give. Other factors is that men are not producing. You know,
But because of this drop in testosterone.
Yeah.
I've heard that women taking the pill, the contraceptive pill, and then urinating, the chemical gets into our water system through the as you can imagine, the water gets recycled, and that hormone would be estrogen is then being drunk by men and making them effeminate.
Look, that is actually the first time I've actually heard something, but
you heard it here first.
Could be true in some way.
Will you be buying an Evian instead of drinking out of the tap if that's the case?
We don't know what else is in our war either.
Well, there's fluoride in there. I know
plastic.
Underneath is
Metals.
a nice layer of tinfoil.
Yeah.
I don't know, but all these environmental factors and nutrition, it will have an effect.
It does.
And
it does.
It won't be noticeable on the individual, but on the population as a whole, you will see the trend, whether that's testosterone dipping or men having fewer children.
I mean, if we talk a little bit more about alpha and beta,
okay.
You know, I've already said that we are products of our environment. So if you have a male, let's take for you for instance, one day you will want to have children. Okay. If you took it upon yourself from now, today, to completely change your attitude to life and your lifestyle, for example, changing your diet, taking up a weightlifting program, doing a lot of physical activity, and also developing your mind, trying to better yourself as a person in every aspect of your life, you would actually change the DNA of your sperm.
Will I?
Yes, you would actually change the DNA of your sperm. So when you do come to the point where you are ready to have children, you would probably have a Superman as a child.
Yeah, okay. So you can affect the health of your future child by improving your own health.
Yes, and you can see. I mean, and you can see if you look out there in the world, and if you see a particular family where obesity may be running through the generations, and what you'll see is the children are probably having the same genetics.
Is that because they've got the same genetics, or is it just because they're eating from the same plate, literally?
No, I think genetics play a big part.
But if a family all eat together, they're going to eat the same food.
Exactly.
And it's probably both. And I think America is
But the food is affecting our genetics, our DNA. Because the food is the medicine.
Yeah.
You know, we have to treat food as medicine. There's no other way. If we treat food as just a fuel source, and we're just putting whatever we have in our body, not thinking about the nutrition in our food, then we aren't really, we aren't really being successful in what we want to do.
You are what you eat.
Yes.
And I've heard that you've gone vegan now.
No, I'm not vegan.
After all this.
No, I'm not vegan. But I do, in some ways, respect the vegan lifestyle. I don't think the vegan lifestyle is sustainable.
Okay.
The reason for that is I think it does weaken the male's testosterone.
All that soy.
Yes.
I've heard that people who switch to a vegan diet reap huge benefits in the early stages because for once they're actually eating enough vegetables and greens, which they never did before.
Definitely. Initially,
but it trails off.
Yes, initially you will see huge results. You know, your body will start detoxing, you will start cleansing, you will feel better with yourself, your digestive system will be operating much more effectively, but it's not sustainable. I mean, if you want to be, for me, males, they should eat meat at least once or twice a week.
Okay.
And I think that the makeup of the meat, the profiling of the meat, is far more superior than what you can get in vegetables. Vegetables don't offer the same profiling, so you need to have meat in your diet at least once or twice a week. A nice steak,
but not necessarily every day.
No, not every day. I mean, if you are someone who's not so active, I wouldn't recommend you eating meat every day.
And certainly not processed meat.
Oh, 100% not processed meat. No. It should be organic. You know, and we should research more on what food we are eating.
We should.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to pause there. We will be back after the break. Babar, thank you for joining me for this part 1 of the Christmas reunion. Welcome back. It's Lessons for Life 24/7, wrapping up the year and reuniting with old friends. We talked earlier about testosterone levels. Famously, people have always said that a boxer mustn't have sex before a fight. And who was it who said, no, it's during a fight? I can't remember who that. I think someone said that to Michael Parkinson. I can't claim that joke. Barbara, what is the myth or the truth? Well,
Okay.
things get out of control. Just wait for the bell.
Must be all the excitement.
Well, yeah. What is the myth or the truth behind abstinence and testosterone levels? Does it make you more aggressive? Does it make you more ready to fight? Talk to
Yes. I myself am a believer, yes. If you abstain or no FAP,
me. Yeah. This is some internet term.
before, yeah, I mean, actually it's a society.
It's a society.
It's a society, the no
Right.
FAP society.
Are they vegan?
No,
Okay.
no. No. Basically, they're individuals who want to better themselves,
Right.
and they feel that abstaining from watching pornography
Yeah.
and from masturbation,
Yeah.
it makes them stronger.
Right.
And-
What about good old-fashioned relations with your wife or girlfriend?
I mean, that's different. I mean,
As long as the
no
other one
FAP
doesn't
society,
find out.
the no FAP society,
Yeah.
I think, is more geared towards young men
Okay.
who are single,
Okay.
or men who are not in any relationship,
Mhm.
older men even, it could,
Mhm.
could be. So what happens is if you abstain, your focus levels increase.
Mhm.
You are preserving your natural
Mhm.
testosterone,
Yeah.
okay? And also there are proteins in your sperm,
Mhm.
so your body takes that to itself.
Mhm.
So, and also what you're doing is that all that instant gratification. So where we are living in a society where everyone wants everything instantly, instant gratification.
I want it now.
I want it now.
Yeah.
So you go on your laptop or your phone and you watch something, and then you just, a couple of minutes down the road, you've got that instant gratification. You understand? And that in itself,
If you're lucky.
to the human psyche, is very negative.
Okay.
Because what happens is that you want that in every aspect of your life.
Mhm.
You want instant gratification. You want everything now. You don't want to work for anything. And this is why people are struggling to reach their goals
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. Why? Because they don't have the persistence, they don't have the discipline, the dedication, and the consistency
I mean-
to really battle it through the days to get to where they want to go to. So instead of having these desires to have instant gratification, they are restraining themselves and taking that energy and putting it into other things. So it could be, gym, for example, making yourself more physically appealing. It could be work. It could be education. It could be other things. So you're taking that energy, you focus on something else. Same as boxers, where they are told to abstain
Yeah.
for 6 weeks. Some I remember Lennox Lewis used to do it for 3 months.
Mhm.
So that focus goes solely into their training and into their preparation and mindset for their fight.
Focused on one thing.
Yes.
Only. Certainly, deferred gratification does correlate with advancements in society. Societies that advance and do well are societies where a culture of deferred gratification is prevalent. And people say that the further north you go, I mean, life began in Africa, somewhere around the equator. Populations move north, and arguably the further north you go, the more civilized societies become. I don't know whether that's true or not, but people that lived in the north, in the cold, had to survive that winter. They had to put off eating the food they wanted now. They had to save and save and save enough food to get them through the winter. Otherwise, they would die.
Exactly.
Does that explain why Africa is a vastly poor continent and Europe is a very rich continent? It might not explain it. Is it a factor?
No. I mean,
Is it relevant at all?
Africa.
Why is Africa poor?
Africa in itself has social issues within themselves.
Mhm.
In their political systems, they've got tribal systems.
Mhm.
The other thing, Africa was colonized.
Okay.
You know, for many, I don't know how many, you would know better.
Well,
300 years,
many years,
400 years, maybe even more.
Okay.
So there's a lot of issues in African society that really.
So it's all the white man's fault.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But civilizations take time to recover.
Okay.
You know, it takes time.
Is the Indian subcontinent still recovering from colonization?
Yes. I mean,
What are the scars that haven't healed?
No toilets in India.
No.
Well, less toilets.
Were they there before the?
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, before the British went to India, you know, India was a successful civilization. You know, they had trade, they had education, they had their own probably political systems.
Under the Mughals?
Under the Mughals, yes.
Okay. Were the Mughals not just another conquest, another colonisation?
Wasn't any of all of them were.
No, okay. But
everywhere.
You prefer the Mughals, being as you are named after one of their leaders, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I prefer what I prefer. I mean, but what I don't prefer is a foreign invader coming.
But the Mughals were foreign. They weren't Indians, were they?
I mean, they were descendants of the Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
But
Mughal meaning Mongol, right?
Mongols,
Mongolian.
yes.
Okay,
that's
so
right.
they were
descendants.
So
yes.
they were foreigners.
No.
Were they Indian? Were they native to the Indus Valley?
Yes.
I thought they were Mongols from Mongolia and Genghis Khan.
No.
Of course they were.
They were probably Mongols originally.
They invaded and they came and
they were probably
from the Middle East.
They were probably Mongols in the beginning.
In the beginning.
Then after,
well,
maybe, okay, if you go back to the beginning, then over 2,000 years ago in India, the natives, the native,
the Dravidians.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Were the Dravidians?
Well, in the south you've got the Dravidians, and in the north you've got the Aryans, who came and pushed the Dravidians south. They were a new Iranian sort of phenotype civilization that came in, and that's why you got the caste system and dark-skinned people in the poor south.
That came after,
compared to lighter-skinned people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
North.
So the natives that were there 2,000 years ago, they were, what were they? Generally just farmers, right? Mm-hmm. They were just farmers.
Okay.
And you're saying that the Iranians came.
Well, an Iranian type of fairer-skinned people.
But don't you think, Julian, like, man has always been moving around anyway?
Absolutely. But if you're going to criticise the Raj...
I'm not criticising the Raj.
Well, you said that there was no toilets in India because of the Raj.
No, I said they've got a toilet problem now.
Now, but because the Raj has left?
No, the Raj has never left. The Raj is probably still there.
Right.
But they're not calling the shots as such.
But we were talking about the scars of colonialism, and it takes a long time to heal, and you were saying...
Well, they say that the only thing that the colonizers did was just to make their own lives better. They just made railroads and a few other things just so they could transport goods.
Well, one thing that the Pakistanis who I met in Pakistan when I was there during the election, and I didn't get to vote, that they were very thankful for or proud of was the irrigation system.
Okay.
And for such a hot country, Pakistan has vast areas of greenness due to this irrigation system brought by those cruel British colonisers. Is that not at least one thing they can be thankful of?
But I think that the British did have intention to probably stay there forever.
Okay, so they were preparing it for themselves, and if
I mean, they weren't doing it for the Indians.
Okay,
do you understand? They were doing it for themselves.
Okay.
So,
well, I guess every civilization does it for themselves. What were the Mughals there for?
What were they there for? Obviously, they were there for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's the way the world works, Julian. The strong survive.
Survival of the fittest.
Yes, so it is.
Or
alpha and beta.
Alpha, beta, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the I think Darwin said it's not the survival of the fittest, it's the best adapted. But fitness just means how well adapted you are.
Being a product of the environment.
Yeah, to that environment.
Change your DNA structure.
Absolutely.
So you can see that why certain behaviours continue for such a long periods of time without any change, because the society is probably plateaued.
Yeah.
Staying the same. Unless something extraordinary happens, like Usain Bolt comes from nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, who is just superhuman.
Yeah.
And that can happen.
Here's one for you. Get the quote correct. Hard times make strong men. Strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make hard times.
Yes.
And
Let's go back to...
So it goes on.
Good quote. and I want to talk about comfort.
Comfort, okay.
Why are we, as men or as people in society, why is everyone so driven for comfort? You know, it's like everyone is working for comfort. You know, they wanna. Oh, you know what? I just want to work now so I can chill later. Oh, I want to. You know, I can't wait till my retirement years or my golden years. I cannot wait. Why is that? Because for me, I believe that life is not about comfort. I believe life is a continuous struggle till the end. And if once you put that in your mind that you want comfort, you want to relax, you will just plateau.
But you believe in comfort at the end of your life,
Or in the next life. Yes.
Touche. Well, so your comfort has been deferred right to the end of your life, and maybe that's the ultimate con of religion. Maybe that's why religious societies blossom.
That's a good point,
isn't it?
That's a good point. Okay, let's say it's a con. Let's just say it's a con.
A con.
But I also believe that society itself is conning man anyway, because it's promising man a pension. It's promising man the golden years that will never come.
I think you're right. I think the promise of the pension is just as much a con as the promise of the heaven. Whether that's a con or not is up to your belief.
Yeah.
But work hard now, and you'll reap the benefits when you're 65.
So that's what I'm saying. Why are we searching for comfort? Why don't we fight every day to be the best we can? For now, not talking about yesterday, not talking about tomorrow. For now, be the best you can now. Why can you not have all that you can have now? Do you understand?
Well, okay. Have you seen the experiment with the kids and the marshmallow?
Tell me about it.
They bring out a marshmallow for a child sat in front of the camera, and they say, "Here's a marshmallow. Don't eat it. If you wait and don't eat it, we'll give you 2 later on."
I know that test. Yes.
And the more intelligent children wait and get 2 later on, and the thickos have their marshmallow now and enjoy it now. Okay. And that's what you're suggesting.
So who's the thickos then, Julian?
Well, if you're actually getting the marshmallow, the trouble is society's not giving us the marshmallow.
But does society owe us, or do we owe ourselves?
We owe ourselves. But you said about deferred gratification and self-control on the one hand, but then you were saying, but I want to eat my marshmallow now. Why don't we just live now and live in the moment? Yeah,
but that's just 2 completely different things, isn't it, Julian? When I say deferred gratification in terms of, you talk about no fap, right?
For example. So you brought it up, you wanted to talk about it.
But
it's your favourite topic at the moment.
It's not my favourite. I'm saying
you, but
this is the current thing.
Yeah.
This is what
everyone's talking about it.
Everyone's talking about it. So let's say, for example, the effects of no fap is not instant. You got to give it time.
Yeah.
You know, some people say it could take 60 days, 90 days, but what that means is that you are not chasing that instant gratification. Okay. You are working towards that goal. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And as the days go by, as the weeks go by, you will be stronger and stronger. You know, and you will not look for instant gratification because you will appreciate and understand that, you know what, you have to work for it. You know, and when you do finally reach your goal, it will be like heaven. Why? Because you work so hard for it. You will appreciate it.
You've deserved it. I do often think that nothing worth it is easy.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And nothing is, Julian. I mean, anything that's anyone who's achieved any sort of greatness, it has never come easy. I mean, it's portrayed that way because you see all the glitz and the glamour, but look behind the scenes. It's probably pure torture and hell, you know. But they got through that to get to there.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali said, "Suffer now, and live later on as a champion forever."
I believe it's a mindset. I believe that, and it's just certain people have it, and most people don't.
No, and there's definitely a correlation between high intelligence and advanced societies and the culture of deferred gratification, whether that's deferring eating to survive the winter, or training hard in order to improve.
Or taking cold showers.
Taking cold showers.
Whatever you could do.
Take a cold shower yourself?
I do.
Okay.
Occasionally.
Okay.
And it helps a lot.
What does it help?
Therapeutically.
Yeah.
I feel that by taking cold shower, it's sort of like strengthening you.
How often would you take a cold shower?
Oh, man. I try maybe once a week,
whether you need it or not.
whether I need it or not.
And a
But in
warm,
the summer,
and a warm shower once a month.
I try to wash every day.
It's a good idea.
I try to wash every day.
Absolutely.
But I was going to say something, but now I
Yeah,
forgot.
sorry, I'm sorry, brother.
I was going to say something,
Distracted
but it maybe come back to
It'll
you.
come back
It'll
to
come
you.
back to
Well,
me.
it will be back, and we'll be back after this. Thank you for staying with us. It's Lessons for Life, 24/7. I wonder what it was. Welcome back, it's Lessons for Life, and we're still doing the Christmas special. We've been fat shaming, we've been having a pop at Beta Males. Let's get some advice from a personal trainer. Are you a personal trainer or a coach?
Both.
And I guess some people look at you like a life coach, but
Yes.
who actually makes a difference.
I
No
hope so.
disrespect to life coaches, but I've always thought that must be... It's like a fitness trainer without the fitness.
Yeah, I mean,
But you need to do that as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, a coach is somewhat of a mentor, you can say. But I think that if you've accomplished much, or if you've accomplished something, then it's good to go into that field. But what we find is everyone wants to be a life coach, but if you look into it, they haven't really done anything. So does it really justify them being a life coach?
Well, I think fitness coach, as you say, is a life coach. For me, I've worked with various trainers. I've always been into the gym. I've always been into my fitness. But the thing that makes the coach worth their money, and people say, "Oh, personal trainer is expensive." For me, what I'm paying for is someone to do the thinking.
Exactly.
To do the think. So I don't want to have to think and work out. Just tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
Exactly.
If
I mean, that's why. I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing because I love to help people, and it really lifts me up when I see someone going from a certain level and them progressing in front of my eyes, and I can say, okay, you know what, I was part of that, and that's what really, that's the part I enjoy. So coaching is something that you do with specific to someone, specific to their goal. PTing is more to do with the gym based. So you've got your manual, and you're going by your manual because you have to follow the insurance guides of the gym.
So being a coach is a level up from a personal trainer.
Yes, being a coach is a level up. You are setting up a program specific to a person's goal or sporting goal. And the training is according to that as well.
I mean, I train in a gym in Wimbledon sometimes, Wimbledon Strength Club, free bit of advertising there. And the coach down there, lovely guy, John Compton, he won't mind me mentioning his name. And we all know him and see him like a friend. But when we're training, and people laugh at me in the gym and mock me for this, when he tells me to do something, I say, yes, coach. I don't say John, because I want to be in that frame of mind.
You want to be in
yes,
that zone.
coach.
Yes,
coach.
yes.
Because when the session finishes, then you can be friendly or whatever,
Exactly.
but I want to follow instructions.
And that's exactly what I tell people I work with. When you are with me, it's time to work. It's time to work now. If you want to relax, you do that after session when you go home.
That's right.
And that's why I tell people to get in that zone, to get in that zone. And one thing I want to talk about as well, the importance of coaching. You already said that having a coach is important. Speaking from experience, someone like me who's never had any coaching.
I know you did a lot yourself.
I've done, I mean, I am. I know people like to say it, they are self-taught, but I can honestly say, hand on my heart, I am self-taught.
I know, and you went a long way with it, and respect to you for it, and you've helped other people along the way.
Yeah, but if I could go back, and if I could have had a coach to really push me to that next level and guide me a little bit more, maybe I'm thinking, what could have been? You know what I mean?
I needed your help about 10 years ago, right? 10
Exactly.
years ago, you never helped me.
Exactly.
You didn't care.
Exactly. So coaching is very important.
If you wanted my help, why didn't you ask?
Exactly. I didn't have anyone to ask. That's the problem. But yeah, coaching is very important, and the difference a coach can make to somebody. And you shouldn't put a price tag on that.
Why? No, you're absolutely right.
Why you shouldn't put a price tag on that? Because it's your life.
Yeah.
You are changing your life. This person, you are investing in this person to really guide you to change every aspect of your life. You will go to that next level. You will get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And for those people out there that are stuck in the comfort zone, who are quitting, why are you living?
Can I just give you a bit of advice?
Yeah.
Quitters never win, and winners never quit. Last time this year. It is true though. You must never give up. Yeah. But is this search for a coach, whether it's a trainer, a personal trainer, or a sensei? When I first rocked up at the MMA club in Feltham, Pro My MMA, everyone was intermittently addressing the coach as Sir. So it wasn't a traditional martial arts club where it would have been sensei or whatever. I can't remember what they say in BJJ, but professor or something. Okay. But obviously in the Japanese martial arts,
I've actually been looking into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I actually really liked because I never really knew about it, and when I learned that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was designed for the weak man to become strong, I really liked that psychological part of it. So it teaches the smaller, weaker guy to become strong. And it's not so much about destroying someone as, for example, a boxing match or a Muay Thai match where someone is actually physically trying to hurt you. It's all about restraining someone.
You're subduing someone.
And I really like that. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm using testosterone or something.
Well, it's certainly a good way for a smaller man to overpower a physically stronger man. And judo, Japanese jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu all come from the same sort of family tree. And I believe the founder of the martial art was quite a small man himself, but he wanted to work out how he could
He was only 140 pounds himself. And what happened was he started competing against much bigger men. And he actually won these contests, and that's how it blew up.
Yeah, and obviously in the first UFC, it was Royce Gracie, who was only 180 pounds, who came out on top in an open class, any weight, anything goes.
Anything goes. One boxing glove.
Yeah, one boxing glove. Guys losing teeth, and I think
Tank Abbott.
Yeah, that's right. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came out on top back then because it was one sport against another. But now that people with good striking have good takedown defence, they can keep the fight standing and it never gets to the ground. If it ends up on the ground, the BJJ practitioner obviously has the advantage. But if you can keep it standing, you're in with a chance. But I definitely, I've never studied pure BJJ, but I've done judo from a young age, and then I've trained in jiu-jitsu clubs just to give me the techniques to then use in the MMA. But I strongly recommend any form of jiu-jitsu as a sport that you can do right into your old age, Barber. I'm getting there too, and I think one of the principles in terms of a weaker man overpowering a stronger man is the mechanics of it.
Yes.
And as strong as your muscle might be, like even the strongest man in the world will run out of steam. Exactly. The lactic acid will burn your muscle sooner or later. And when it does,
these BJJ guys, they can restrain you for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour if you want.
That's
because they are so relaxed.
Yeah,
and that's the key. And that's the key for any combat sport, I believe. Once you learn how to relax in an intense situation, you have won.
That's right. I mean,
let's take for example last night's match, David Chisora versus Dylan White. I expected a head-on-head war.
Yeah.
Chisora came in doing what everyone expected, but Dylan White, he sat back, took his time, using straight jabs, occasional right hand, let Chisora really, how do you say, blow out his tank, run out his tank, whatever. And then, he came on stronger.
He weathered the storm.
He weathered the storm. And then, I mean, and that's the whole thing, being relaxed in combat sports.
To contrast that with Frampton, I was watching Carl Frampton, being an Irish partisan supporter. He he had a terrible first 2 rounds, and he tried to toe-to-toe exchange and fight fire with fire, and he never recovered from it.
But Frampton, I remember him when he was coming up, and there was a lot of expected from him. And I actually was myself. I was like, wow, this kid.
He won 2 world titles. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Yeah. But I mean, I thought that it would be something more. You know, I thought he would actually be in the elite.
I think he looked small in there against Warrington.
Okay.
In terms that he was shorter, he had shorter reach,
right.
And he's struggled to make the weight before, even at featherweight. So I don't know. I think maybe he was better off at the lower weight with a super bantam weight. And good luck to him. He's a great fighter, a great sharp shooter, counter puncher who can wait for a guy to come in. But if you've lost the first 2 rounds,
I haven't seen Warrington fight, so I wouldn't know. But I've seen Frampton.
Yeah.
So when I hear that he's lost to other UK fighters, it's sort of hard for me to believe. It's like, shouldn't he be losing against like world level operators?
He's only lost to Warrington last night and the Mexican Santa Cruz. He's only lost 2, and he beat Santa Cruz the first time. Okay. Lost the rematch, and I think a rematch often goes.
Is he still with McGuigan? Is he still with McGuigan?
No, and he's left McGuigan under suspicious circumstances.
That could be the missing link.
That could be, yeah. I don't know what happened there, but I wish him,
because I know. Well, what I know of Barry McGuigan is that he's not a guy known to waste time. So if he feels that you're not worthy, or you may not reach to a certain level, he won't really give you his time. So for him to be away from Frampton could mean something.
They parted ways under a cloud of suspicion when Frampton failed to make the weight. So the fight was on, but it wouldn't. Even if he won, he wouldn't win the number 1 mandatory spot that was at stake.
Right.
And then next thing you know, the opponent slips and falls in the shower, and the fight's off.
It happens a lot in boxing these days.
Very
slips and
coincidentally, suspiciously.
Slipping
And
and falling.
I wonder.
I hope he was practicing nofap.
I have no idea what went on in the shower or what didn't. We'll be back on that bombshell. We'll be back to talk to you after I ask Barbara what exactly that is. You're watching Lessons for Life 24/7. Welcome back. It's the Christmas special. That's why I've got the Christmas edition of the tinfoil hat. And we were talking about alpha males.
Yes.
Barbara, what's an alpha male? Have you ever met one?
Alpha male. I'm looking at one.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I'm looking at one.
And
well, alpha male, I think the term is being thrown around too much. And we have beta males thinking that they're alpha males.
Right.
Maybe a bit too much. Why? Because it's like they're compensating. Where they're compensating, so they may feel that they are doing well in certain parts of their life. For example, they might have a good career, or they may have a lot of money. So they automatically think that they are alpha male because of that. But that's not what makes you an alpha male, in my opinion.
In a room of males, or in a room of people, do you think someone will always emerge as the alpha male if they're all interacting with each other?
Well, in today's day and age, I don't know. But there will probably always be that one dominant, yes.
There'll be we naturally look for a leader.
Yes, yes.
My theory is that anyone can be an alpha male in the right environment. You say me and the producer all go out together with another pathetic, weedy guy who's not into the gym, he's not strong, wouldn't say boo to a goose, but we land somewhere in the middle of China and he speaks fluent Chinese, Mandarin. He's going to be the alpha male. We're going to look to him and say, you need to help us. In that context, he will become the alpha male. For that holiday.
Yeah, going back to being a product of the environment. But I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I don't think that will make him the alpha. Why? Because, okay, he has a particular skill, but that doesn't make him...
But we'd be lost without him. He would be leading us around. He'd be saying, that sign says this, and we'd be looking at him
say for
like
example,
our dad.
Yeah, but say, for example, he has a particular tool.
Yeah.
So he can speak the language, but the real alpha cannot speak the language. But the real alpha's got more skill in other departments and more ability in other departments. So you will still go with the person who has more than the person who has less. It's like what I was saying in the beginning. You may get a person who is, let's say, a beta, weedy, not particularly good looking, probably not very good with the opposite sex, but he has finance. That particular thing cannot compensate for everything else.
But maybe these days it can.
I don't believe so.
Maybe in the old days when we lived in the woods.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think that to be an alpha, what that really means is having your priorities in order, in all aspects.
Okay.
So, for example, okay, you may not be particularly appealing to the opposite sex, but you can try to do certain things that can make you more appealing. You may not be physically strong, but you can
earn more money.
No, but you can start getting yourself in a fitness program to make yourself better, dress better, present yourself better, have better public speaking abilities.
Okay.
And like you said, if you can know Mandarin, that will help as well. So I think it's a total package. I don't believe that one thing can compensate for everything else. Because if you look at the animal kingdom, the alpha, let's look at a lion, for example,
King of the jungle.
The king of the jungle. If the female is not running after the lion, the king, the lion gets the female anyway. Do you understand?
Okay.
Because he will be battling with other would-be alphas to get that female. So what I'm saying is the alpha, a real alpha, will have everything in order in his life, in all aspects. Not try to think, okay, I'm going to hit the lottery, I'm going to get this money, and then that's going to make me an alpha, because I don't believe so. I believe money is just a tool. I don't believe money is a thing that can compensate for everything.
No, and if you're a successful person, then as a consequence, you probably would have money. I mean, idiots who win the lottery are usually broke again within a year because they don't know what to do with it.
But yeah, when I was talking about lottery, I was being general. What really meant was chasing after money.
Okay.
Working 60 hours a week, working for someone and just chasing that money, but totally neglecting everything else in your life.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you an alpha.
Okay. And you don't go with the theory that in the old days, women looked for a physically strong male to protect her and the offspring from the physical threats around in nature when we lived in caves. But nowadays, money or wealth or a nice house or a nice car or a good job is a different kind of security. Why would they not want that security? There's no good being big and strong when there's no bears or wolves to eat you anymore.
A beta male can acquire a good career.
What is a beta male?
A beta male is someone who's a bit more lower in the food chain in regards to the opposite sex.
So alpha, beta being the first two letters of the Greek alphabet?
Yes.
Okay. And are they gamma males or?
I don't know about gamma.
Omega?
That's a fish.
That's the final, omega 3. Omega is the final.
Yeah, omega is the bottom of the food chain.
In the Bible, Jesus says he is the alpha and the omega, the first and the last.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Okay.
Someone said to me, anyone who talks about alpha males is clearly not an alpha male.
Yes.
What?
That's true.
Why is that? Because
a real alpha.
I mean, I am one, but
yeah.
Because
a real alpha
doesn't need to say
anything. Because the real alpha will always attract the opposite sex.
Actions
will always be successful or it's not always will be successful, but will always be a fighter.
Okay.
Will always be trying. Do you understand? A beta can be disguised as your boss. trying to be an alpha. Do
Yeah.
you understand?
If we're to go with this premise
Yeah.
that there are alpha males and beta males, even though I think anyone can be an alpha male on their day in their right environment, if you have someone who feels insecure, who is in a position of authority, out of fear of losing that position, they will be very ruthless, they will be very erratic, and any slight challenge, they will try and do away with it as quickly and as swiftly as they can, and that can lead to quite a toxic environment. If you are going to be a leader of men or women or of people, you need to have the confidence to not be paranoid like that.
A true alpha would never flaunt. A true alpha would never show off their achievements. Do you understand? For example, or gloat to try to get the opposite sex. Like, for example, have a flashy car, or talk about their clothes, or talk about their salary, whatever else people do these days to show off. You know, they
Forgive me. Someone said today recently, we must appear weak when strong and strong when weak. If you're not actually strong, you better give off the illusion of it. I mean, there's some
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. There's creatures. There's those little flies that look like wasps, but they're actually.
But a beta can become an alpha. You know, but with the right process.
Are there alpha females and
yes,
beta females?
And the alpha female generally will have a beta husband.
And she'll boss him around.
Yeah.
Are we being?
Yes. She will be in command.
Very stereotypical now. I know the word bossy is not liked by feminists, and I can understand why. A man who is an alpha is he's a strong leader. A woman who is an alpha is so-called bossy.
No, I believe females could be alpha as well. Yes.
The queen bee.
There you go.
I've often seen it in schools. There will be a girl who absolutely rules the roost, and occasionally if there's two queen bees in a beehive, you end up with a swarm. Talking of bees,
yes,
slotted it in there very smoothly. Barbara, I need to ask you about bee pollen. It's a very important topic.
I'm not really an expert. I'm not really an expert in
bee
pollen.
All week the producer has been mentioning to me bee pollen. Ask Barbara about bee pollen. There's been a panic recently about bees
becoming extinct.
Yes. And if bees become extinct, we will be next to go. Why are the bees so important?
I mean, I've heard that bees are important, but I don't know why.
Okay, well, I've asked the wrong person, but the producer's looking doubtful. Do you know
it's something to do with the ecosystem?
You know something that you don't want to tell us?
Something to do with the ecosystem.
They've hushed him up. They've told him not to mention it.
We can go back to the testosterone.
I would like to go back to that.
But you could tell me more about bee pollen.
Well, I don't know anything about bee pollen. It was just something I was.
It's like sharks. You know, if we kill out all the sharks, the whole ecosystem will be ruined, because we always need an apex predator.
Okay.
It's also the vultures.
Apex at the top.
Apex. There you go.
The letter A.
Alpha. Apex.
The triangle. Alpha, beta. This is. Do you know where we get the word phonetic from?
No.
Phonetic meaning the way it sounds. If something's spelt phonetically, it's written the way it sounds. It comes from the Phoenician alphabet.
Okay.
The Phoenicians who were in modern day Lebanon and ruled the Mediterranean all those years ago. Well, on that note, having been around the houses, we'll pause for another break. We'll collect our thoughts. We might be back with some more toxic masculinity after the break. Welcome back. It's Lessons for Life 24/7, the Christmas special, and I wanted to get Babar Ali's advice. I'm asking for a friend. But what if someone feels that they are really stuck in a rut, and Tyson Fury springs to mind, the guy ballooned up to 28 stone, and he did come back for it. But how do you take the first step to climb that mountain when you've let yourself go to that extent?
I think the first step always is your intention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you really want for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to ask those hard questions to yourself and say, okay, what do I really want for myself? And then, you know, if you come to the conclusion that you really want to change your life, you want to be the best you can be. You know, you don't want to settle for mediocrity. You're on your way, because the intention is very strong, you know. And then you just have to start working day by day.
Someone said to me once that we're always either going forward or going backwards. There's no maintenance. There's no staying still. You're either improving or
you know, Bruce Lee said, you know, the only problem is plateaus, and we must always break through them. So, yeah, if you are stuck in a rut, if you are plateaued, you know, you really just have to not give up and keep asking yourself those questions. You know, do affirmations. Affirmations really work.
What's an affirmation?
Affirmation is like telling yourself constantly, I want to be better. You know, giving yourself positive talk. And it really helps. If you constantly give yourself positive talk, it starts shining through.
And is that
in your
actually
actions.
Verbalized? Are you actually saying it to yourself?
You could verbalize it, or you could just talk to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are words that you repeat? Or?
Yeah. You can repeat certain sentences. You can say things like, day by day, I'm getting better.
Okay.
You know, do certain affirmations. You know, we're Muslims, where we do a lot of zikr, for example, where you're constantly mentioning the word of God. You're praising God, mentioning God continuously. That's another way. But there's nothing wrong with do affirmations to yourself. You know, giving yourself self-talk. You know, if you're like someone like me, for example, who never had a coach, who's going to motivate you? Who's going to push you?
Motivate yourself.
You've got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So you've got to give yourself that constant talk. You know, check yourself out in the mirror. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely nothing wrong.
Check yourself out in the mirror. See where you're at. See where you want to be. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, he used to really expose. You know, look at himself in the mirror and say, okay, I want to change this. I want to change this.
He didn't like his legs, did he?
He didn't like his legs. You know, he didn't like his calves particularly.
How much of that can you do before you're becoming anorexic or body dysmorphic and thinking I'm never perfect? Arnold Schwarzenegger had a physique that most men, you know, would be very jealous of, and he's not happy because his calf is slightly smaller than the next.
Yeah, you know,
bodybuilder.
Julian. I mean, I think where you're coming at now is a little bit. It's a difficult subject, sensitive subject.
It is
mental health.
It is. Well,
You know, you can be genuinely mentally ill, or you can just be a little depressed.
Okay.
There's a big difference.
And how do we know the difference?
The difference is a genuinely mentally ill person really has no control over how they feel. The brain is operating not on a stable basis. The serotonin levels are going up, down, up, down, up, down. So they're constantly fighting a constant battle between being up and being down, being up, being down. But when you have someone who is just down, you know, they can fight their way out of it. And lifestyle changes really determine that.
So serotonin levels, yet again, are another physical thing that we can measure.
Yes.
So mental health is a tangible, actual thing. It's
Exactly.
It's not just a spectrum, and we all feel good sometimes and bad other times. And if you're not having a productive life, you're not going to feel good.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Like, for example, if you're someone who doesn't take care of themselves, someone who refuses to really get up and go, it will make you sick.
I've heard people say that mental illness is just a myth, and it's an excuse for people that are not motivated to say, "Oh well, I'm not well." I mean,
There are people who play, you know, the victim. There are people who play the victim or are mentally ill, but there are a lot of people who are genuinely mentally ill.
Pleading insanity is the oldest excuse. I'm not, by the way, slating mental illness. I'm just saying what some people say.
Yeah.
And what about addiction? Is that a mental illness? If someone is addicted to something, are they mentally ill? Are they sane?
If you're addicted to something,
Yeah.
I mean, addiction is a completely different thing.
Is it?
Yeah, because addiction is something that takes over you.
And is it in your mind?
Yes, but it's a lot to do with willpower as well.
Is it not mental health then? If it's an affliction of the mind, is it not?
Let's take for example someone who suffers from bipolar disorder. Genuinely.
Okay.
So a person who suffers from bipolar disorder will find it very difficult to maintain a steady line in their mentality.
Yeah.
You know, one day they'll be up, you know, thinking that they're going to be a Hollywood star. The next day they'll be down in the dumps thinking that, okay, I want to end it. That person will always struggle through life. Why? Because their mind is not operating correctly. But what I want to get to is, even a person who has severe bipolar disorder, they can change elements of their lifestyle that can, you know, indicate, okay, you know what, I'm not feeling too good today, I've got to calm down.
And are they remedying and curing their illness, or are they just managing their condition?
A lot of it's managing.
Okay, but they'll always be bipolar.
There will always be problems. Yes.
And is that because of a chemical imbalance?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's like, for example, if you take someone who is obese, their metabolic system is not the same as mine and yours.
They're predisposed to being.
Exactly. So don't matter what they do, they will never have that hard body look. They will never have that appealing magazine cover look. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No matter what?
More than likely.
Can they get closer to it than they are now?
I mean, realistically, someone who is severely obese will struggle. I mean, to get close to it will be hard as well. They can have a physique where they will look good in clothes. Do you understand? But to say that you will get a ripped six-pack and a chest like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I mean, if they up the protein, reduce the carbs and do cardio, will they not naturally just lose body fat?
They really have to embrace the lifestyle, Julian.
Okay.
You know, there's no short fix.
Okay.
You know, so for example, if a severely obese person came to me and they said, okay, I want to look like this, I would tell them that, look, we need to set realistic goals for you in stages. Do you understand? The first stage would be change your eating habits. Then we will go on to other things and other things. But I would really put it into their mind that this is for the long haul.
Do you know about SMART targets?
No.
It's an acronym. SMART, specific, measurable, achievable,
yes, SMART. Sorry, I do
realistic,
know. Yes,
and time.
Yes, I know.
So it's something that you can definitely do.
Yeah.
We can measure whether you've done it or not.
Yes.
Like losing weight or losing body fat percentage. It's realistic, and you're going to do it by
this time.
Yeah. And that, I assume, goes for anything that you want to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I'm coaching someone at the moment. I've been coaching them for 8 months. It's been intense.
Yeah.
So they've gone from someone who didn't really know how to box to someone who can box.
Okay.
And if he wants to have a fight, he can have it now. And he actually would win. I mean, I'm pretty confident of that. But I put it into his mind that this is a long-term thing. This is not something that you're going to train for 6 weeks and now you're going to be a champion. You know, you really have to dedicate yourself and submit to the graft and the learning process.
What about your favourite undefeated boxer, Freddie Flintoff? What was his purpose of getting in the ring? I mean, some people just want to do it once, like a parachute jump, and say, I did it. And I respect that.
Why not? I mean, for me, if you want to do boxing, it's all down to you. But you need to check your intention. Do you want to do it for fitness, or do you want to do it as competitively? And I think a lot of young guys, when they look at boxing on the TV, and they think, ooh, I could be like that.
Everybody wants to fight until it's time to fight.
Exactly. So they look at it and they look at the glamorous side. Oh, wow, how glamorous. This guy went in the ring.
Yeah.
All these people were watching. He knocked him out. He got all the glory. I can do that.
They don't see the behind the
Exactly.
scenes, the
So
graft.
I always tell the young guys that you really have to check your intention, because you could be saying one thing, but you're actually showing another. So you'll get individuals who want the glory, but when you see him in the gym training, you know that this person is not going to make it. Why? Because he just doesn't have the work ethic, you know, or he doesn't have the ability, you know, to do it. And at the end of the day, we know, you know, fighting arts, they would bring out the truth. You know, it's not something that you lie. You cannot go in the ring and lie.
That's right.
The truth comes out anyway.
That's right.
So, but as a coach, it's my job to protect them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't put them in situations where they are going to be hurt or exposed or humiliated. That's not I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. I think definitely the egos have to go out the window when it comes to combat sport and any form of fighting, because in a team sport, you can hide at the back. You can be a bad player on a good team that can carry you. You can be a great player who's held back because you're not on a very good team, but you can't give it the bigger and pretend that you're a great fighter, whether it's a judoka or a boxer or a Muay Thai. When you get in the octagon or the ring, we're going to find out.
Yeah, definitely. And whether you're a person who wants to get fit or whether you're a person who wants to compete, you have to embrace the process. And that's the problem people are having. They don't want to embrace the process, Julian. You know, it's like they want that instant gratification. It's not going to come. You know, they really have to submit themselves. And it's really hard to tell people these days that, you know what, you got to give it 6 months, you got to give it a year. And they don't want to hear that.
I want it now. Yeah, we're living in a time when everyone wants everything now.
Everything. And the fitness industry, this is why the fitness industry makes so much money. Because people are constantly falling for these quick fixes. 6-week plan, 8-week plan, boot camp, this, that, or this, or that. And they think that, I'm going to do this and I'm going to reach my goal.
Beach body ready.
And then you've got the other side as well, where young guys taking testosterone or steroids. That's the other side.
Okay.
You know, so instant gratification. People are into it.
Is that a shortcut, testosterone or steroids?
Yes.
Does it get the results quicker?
It will get your results quicker to a point, but it's not sustainable. And if you're a young guy and you're taking steroids, you're really risking your health.
Okay.
Your body will. You know. How do you know that your body won't will stop producing natural testosterone after?
Where you and I were at a bench press competition that you organised,
yes.
And Dave French was there. Who else came down? A former world champion lifter, and he said,
yes.
Stay away from the steroids.
Yes. I mean, and you'll find that a lot. You find guys who have been competing at bodybuilding or weightlifting, and they might be older now, and they're probably feeling the effects. You know, the natural testosterone levels are probably shot. They're constantly probably feeling weak. They probably always feel sick or ill, and it's all down to their natural testosterone levels being shot completely
from abusing
it. Yeah.
But are there ways we can maintain the natural testosterone?
Yes.
What about test boosters as opposed to synthetic testosterone?
No. If you want to improve or increase
zinc, magnesium.
Sorry, American term. ZMA.
You say
if you want to increase your natural testosterone levels or maintain them, if you're a young guy, because if you're a young man, your natural testosterone levels should be high, but it's not always the case because some people naturally have low test. It's just how they are. Yeah. But you can do certain things. You can implement in your daily lifestyle. Have correct sleep. Cut out junk food. Eat good source of protein. Do a rigorous weightlifting program because lifting weights is anaerobic, so that triggers a lot of the testosterone.
And why not take the zinc and the magnesium
you can
or the horny goatweed?
You can do that.
Okay, but as you say, it's not an answer, is it? It's got to be a holistic effect.
Yes, it's a holistic.
People want the pill I can take.
It's
now.
a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's a lifestyle. So you could get young guys who genuinely are a bit weedy. They don't have that. You know, they struggle to gain muscle you know, but they can do certain things if they're willing to change their lifestyle, you know, and that goes for older guys as well. Because older guys, just because you're older doesn't mean that you have to have low test. You don't need to have low test.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's hope for everybody.
Yeah.
Baba, thank you for the advice. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Lessons for Life 24/7 and this final instalment of the Christmas special. We're summing up the year, and somehow, Baba, all night you've managed to make me defer my gratification, and I am absolutely desperate now. I can't wait to talk about politics. Yes. I've been holding that in. Baba, the world. Politics. I know you don't watch it anymore, as you just confessed. But what a state of affairs. Saudi Arabia are in Yemen. America are no longer in Syria. Donald Trump has just pulled the troops out of Syria. To me, that's a good thing. We live in strange times, and there are people on the so-called left, the anti-war left, who are upset about this, and because they hate Donald Trump so much, they're criticising him for one of the only good things he's done: removed American troops from a Middle Eastern country.
Why would he be upset about that? Do they feel that he should be helping?
They are crying out, "You're leaving the Kurds unattended, unsupported, and they will now be massacred by the Turkish."
Are the Yazidis still on the hill?
Well, that was in Iraq,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you whether the Yazidis are still on the hill, but that was certainly something that captivated people's minds.
Okay, so with America coming out of Syria, how are the Kurdish going to be affected by that?
Well, there's no protection for the Kurds from ISIS.
ISIS still exists?
For example.
But do ISIS still exist? I thought they dismantled them.
I believe they've been subdued. The producer thinks they're still alive and well. Where are they mainly based?
You did a secret deal and let them go.
Okay, Americans did. I'm being told the Americans did a secret deal and let them. Well, that's why they've left.
Where have they gone?
That could well be the case.
Where have they gone?
Look,
Are they going to pop up on the Mexican border?
I don't. Yeah, that's what Trump thought the caravan was all about. There are so many.
I mean, for a country that claims to be anti-Semitic, I mean, for them using serial numbers on the immigrants at the border is quite
Which country
disturbing.
is anti-Semitic?
The Mexican border. America.
America.
Friends of the Israeli Jews.
Well, are they anti-Semitic or are they pro-Zionist? Not that one negates the other.
Yes.
Donald Trump has been a friend of Israel, but there are right-wing anti-Semites who support Donald Trump, even though he's been friendly to the state of Israel, and they're so blinded and so indoctrinated that they would forgive him anything, even support of the so-called Jewish state.
Well, I mean, don't you find the right wing pretty much one-track minded anyway? They really don't care. I mean, when I hear or see the right wing Zionists behaving and talking, I mean, can you even get through to people like that? I mean, are those people even worth having a dialogue with? I mean, that's how I see it.
I wonder. I do speak to Zionists at Speaker's Corner.
Okay.
From time to time, but usually they are Jewish Zionists, and I find them to be much more pleasant, much more intelligent than the right-wing, indoctrinated, staunch Christian Zionists and Trump fanatics that you come across. And
well, maybe they're too busy trying to please
I think they're just more intelligent.
Right.
And I spoke to a guy today, and Joseph. He's there regularly. You recognise him probably if you saw him. He did make a good point when he asked me what my stance was, and I described myself as anti-Zionist. And he said, "Why would you say that? You should describe yourself as pro-Palestinian." And he was making the case that being pro-Palestinian doesn't necessarily mean anti-Zionist. My view is that Zionism has cost the Palestinians dearly and has pushed them off their land and has ethnically cleansed the region. So for that reason, I'm anti-Zionist. But there were Zionists in the early days, and Norman Finkelstein makes this point, who's a huge critic of Israel. He's an academic that's lost his job because of his criticism of Israel and his staunch backing of the Palestinians. The actual Balfour Declaration that the Zionist movement came up with and presented, or that was presented to the agreement between Baron Rothschild and Lord Balfour, said that Palestine would be a Jewish homeland, not and must not be at the expense of the native inhabitants. So if you're a Zionist in that sense, who just says, look, this is a place that's holy for Jews, and the Jews that are living there should be able to live there safely, side by side, without compromising the local inhabitants, then I guess that's an acceptable face of Zionism.
But the thing is, okay, say for example you see that opinion as okay or acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, it's probably more acceptable than what is actually happening now.
Yeah.
But still, you would have a problem because the Palestinians feel, well, why should we accept those terms anyway? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I think.
It sounds more reasonable.
It's certainly more
now
reasonable. Yeah.
Because of what's happening.
Yeah.
But in a Palestinian point of view, that's not even reasonable either. Because why should they accept those terms? Because they say that they were always there.
They were always there, and why should they accept thousands of European immigrants
or American
into their country? And the Americans, Russians, and later Moroccans, Iraqis, Yemenis, etc. This is the hypocrisy that I can't stand from the Tommy Robinson Brigade, who are against mass immigration, uncontrolled immigration. Tommy Robinson is somehow now the face of Brexit, and I've seen Israeli flags being flown at pro-Brexit rallies by the far right, who are against uncontrolled immigration, yet they're flying the flag of a country that was born out of a mass influx of uncontrolled immigration of immigrants from another part of the world. Seems hypocritical to me.
You're probably right.
There you go, touché. But while we're on the politics, I said we'd limit it to one political video. I know you don't like it. Politics heavy. Saudi Arabia in Yemen. Yeah. I was at the protest outside 10 Downing Street a couple of weeks ago, and there are not many Yemenis in the UK, so I wouldn't expect it to be full of Yemenis, but there were quite a few Iranians and Iraqis there. I don't want to go down the sectarian road.
But isn't the problem?
It's a minefield.
I mean, but the thing is, the problems in the Middle East are sectarian.
Okay. But do you feel, if I can ask you, as a Sunni Muslim, with your Sunni hat on, if you don't mind me, not that one.
It's green.
It is green. Do you feel, is there any reluctance amongst the Sunni people to stand with the people of Yemen for fear of being branded Houthi sympathisers, Iran sympathisers, and getting caught up in all this sectarian issue?
I don't know much about the issue, but from what I've seen, when you see so many people, I don't know the figures, millions they're saying, starving to death.
Yeah.
It's not even about that anymore. the right thing needs to be done. I mean, it's gone beyond that. When millions of people are starving to death, and still creating sectarian tension, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to wipe out the whole country? There won't be any sectarianism left.
Yeah,
So you got to put a stop to it somewhere.
Yeah.
When I see some of those images, I mean, all I can think is you got to put a stop to it.
Well,
it's gone beyond that, isn't it, Julian?
yeah.
It's not even guerrilla warfare anymore. It's like people are just starving to death.
Yeah. And one of the chants at the protest was, "Stop bombing Yemen, stop arming Saudi." And this country is arming Saudi, and in that sense, we are culpable. For me, I think it's all very well taking to the streets, protesting and saying that something must be done. I think in 2003, when 1 million people took to the street and brought London to a standstill, and the war still went ahead, that kind of killed it.
I think for me as well. When that happened, that sort of killed the whole democracy vibe for me. It's like, what does anything mean anymore? It's like if you got so many people coming out and saying they want it this way, and you still shifted the other way regardless of anything, it's like it doesn't really matter. People are going to do what they're going to do.
What can we do then? What can we do when we're watching our government arm the butchers of the Middle East and massacring
it's difficult, Julian. It's difficult, Julian, because
other than vote for Corbyn, which we'll all do, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean,
not that he's perfect.
It's difficult. It's difficult because there's always going to be some policies that you're going to agree with, and some that you won't agree with, but you'll still side with certain parties or individuals. Why? Because you might like particular policies that they have, and you might just turn a blind eye on certain things. Foreign policy has always been a problem with this country, and it has been since 9/11. The foreign policies of the country, but still you find people saying, okay, why? Because I think no bombs have come here, I mean, from the sky, or no invading army has come here. Do you understand? So it's like, if it's not on your doorstep, you don't care about it. And I think that's the attitude of people.
And they are being butchered at the hands of a country that our country is supporting.
Barbara,
Yes.
we're going to wrap up the year.
Okay.
Thank you for joining me. It's great to be back with you. I hope we'll do more of this. I know you want to do podcasts, and I want to do videos, but we'll cooperate on on something.
Yes. But I just want to say,
Oh wait, there's more. Just one more thing.
are you into New Year's resolutions?
Oh, New Year's resolution. I haven't thought of one yet, and
Do you need only one? Some people have many.
it's got to be specific, measurable, attainable. What was R? Realistic and timed. I don't know. What? Give me one.
People need to stop with the New Year's resolutions. You got to start now.
But isn't it a good time to do it because everyone else is doing it? Just
Yeah,
as
but the ones
Ramadan is a good
that
time
are
to
doing
do
it
that.
are the ones that never last.
Okay.
If you really want to make a change in your life, in whatever you want to change or whatever you want to bet yourself, you start immediately. Procrastination has to stop. And self-gratification has to stop.
Yeah, we know. We know that's your
And
favourite subject.
and I just want to say is that keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you.
You're one of the very few people that I know who generally are true volunteers and who try their best and give their time. And I know whatever you are doing is not so much for yourself. It's to send out a message.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and I enjoy the creative process, and I want to interact with
Just keep up the good work.
people.
Keep up the good
I
work.
really appreciate you
And
saying
keep
that.
up
Thank you.
helping the poor.
And same to you. Keep helping people with their physical fitness, mental fitness, and spiritual fitness.
Thanks.
Barbara, thank you very much.